Hey, Michael Rosberg here, creator of the Tax Resolution Domination System and Toolkit. And for this short video, I want to take you back a little bit and want to talk to you about what it was like, what it felt like when I first started not only my tax resolution business, but even a little earlier than that. Just to give you an idea, maybe some of you can relate to this or not. I think a lot of you can. When I first met my wife and business partner, Rosalind, she was already on her own. She had an apartment on her own. She was paying her own way. She even had a nice, I remember, 1978 Camaro Berlinetta at the time. When I met her, I was actually still living at home. I was 28 years old. I was living at home. And actually, I didn't want her to see the car I was driving, which was a beat-up 1976 Toyota Corolla hatchback that the stereo system in the car was worth more than the actual car. So whenever we dated, I used to kind of like hide my car. I wouldn't park it like in front of the restaurant or in front of the club. I'd park it around the corner. That's kind of how I started out. And at that time, I was a junior cost accountant for a company called Ragu that made spaghetti sauce. Actually, at the time, my wife Rosalind was making a lot more money than I was working in a high-end hair salon. So let's fast forward now about 18 years from that period, because for those next 18 years, I worked for folks. I was an employee working for various companies, for various people. And it took me 18 years to decide to really follow my dreams, to realize that I didn't want to work for anybody again. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to call my own shots. I wanted to do my own thing. And to be quite honest, I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if I was going to succeed or fail. So I got fired from my last corporate job, which a lot of you know my story about that. And I decided I was going to help people that had IRS problems. I wanted to fight that David versus Goliath fight. I figured these folks are entitled, deserve a second chance, especially because they weren't criminals. They didn't put money in offshore bank accounts and try to evade taxes. They were just ordinary Americans who had, negative life-altering events take place in their life, which got them in trouble with the IRS, put the filing and the paying of their taxes on the back burner. And, I had my own trial and tribulations and figured, you know what, I got a second chance. They should too. So I decided to hang out my shingle and open up a tax resolution practice. But it wasn't all peaches and cream at the beginning. There were a lot of struggles there too. And I was in fear. I was in fear, probably like a lot of you listening to this video, watching this video right now. I was in fear of trying to get something that was out of my reach, or not wanting to lose something I already had. And, I describe fear as a mile high, a mile long, and paper thin. All you have to do is poke your finger through it, and you're on the other side, because 99% of what we manufacture in our heads about fear never materialize. It's just our heads feeding us this story that we can't do this, or because we've heard that from a family member or a friend, oh, you can't do that, or you see something on television. And I kind of just shut all that off and decided, you know what, I'm going to do this and see what happens. And that's what I did. And when I started to get busier, I was in fear of how am I going to serve all these clients? How am I going to do the work? Can I do the work? Can I do this? And the more people I represented, the more clients I took on, the more confidence I got, because I was able to help them. I figured out a way to help them. And there's so many resources today on the technical training end. If you're worried about, oh, I can't do the work, it's too difficult, what if I mess up? What if I make a mistake and make their situation worse? Well, let me just tell you, there's not a lot you could do to someone who comes to you with 4, 5, 7 years of unfiled returns, owes $50, $60, $100,000 to the IRS. There's not a lot of stuff you could do that's going to make their situation worse. And there's so many resources out there today to help you along with that. So, push forward. Don't let fear drive your decisions. Don't let fear hold you back. Again, it's imaginary. It's only in your head. So let's get out there and do this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a CPA, an enrolled agent, or an attorney, and you want to learn more about the lucrative tax resolution niche, click on the link above my shoulder, enter your name and email, and you'll go to my free webinar training where I'll teach you and show you how to get tax resolution clients, what to say to them when the phone rings, how to screen them, how to segregate the looky-loos and the tire kickers from qualified prospects, how to schedule the appointment, know what to say, and more importantly, know not what to say to make sure they actually show up in your office or on the phone at the appointed time. I teach you how to get retained, close the deal. What do you say to these qualified prospects in order to get them to take their credit card out from their wallet, give it to you to get retained so you can start working the case and help them. I'll teach you how to get paid in advance before their case settles and how to turn them into referral machines. So just click on the link above, give me your name and email. You'll be automatically entered into that free deep dive training.